Hello students. So students, today we will start with a new chapter, that is why do we fall ill. This is the last chapter, and after this we will finish the syllabus in biology. And even in this chapter also some of the portion is removed. Now we all know that cells are the fundamental units of living organisms, and they are made up of a variety of chemical substances like proteins, carbohydrates, fats, lipids, and so on. And large number of chemical reactions are occurring in the cells every time. Cells, they grow, they mature, they divide and form new cells, and even the cell repair also. Okay, now we all know that cells form tissues form organs, and organs form organ systems which have different functions. In a particular organ system, there are many organs. Like, let us take the example of digestive organ system. Now in digestive system is made up of different organs like mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, and function of all the organ is same. They all digest the food, means they break the food. So in a system all the organs, they have same function. Okay. Now, and there are different organ systems. Now, if any organ is affected, or if any organ does not function properly, if any organ of a particular organ system does not function properly, it may affect other organs also, because different organs, they are interconnected. Is it clear to everyone? Like, suppose the function of excretory system is to filter blood. As I told you, in our body large number of chemical reactions occur which produces large number of poisonous substances also, like urea, uric acid, ammonia, and these substances are present in the blood. So your excretory system, like, which includes kidney, ureters, urinary bladder, what is its function? To remove the poisonous substances from the blood, or to purify blood. But if kidneys does not function properly, or if excretory system does not function properly, what will happen? These poisonous substances will accumulate in our body, and it may affect brain, and if the brain is affected, it may affect other organ systems also. Now let us take another example. Now we eat food. The food is digested and reaches the cells, and in the cells the oxygen also reaches. What happens? The food in the cell is oxidized to release energy, and with that energy different organs function. Okay, because in our body also large number of reactions takes place, large number of systems are working, and all those need energy. And from where that energy is coming? That energy is coming by the food, the oxidation of food. Okay, but if the food is not there in the cell, what will happen? There will be no energy. Or let us suppose what is if there is no oxygen. Okay, if suppose the deoxygenated blood is not purified, what will happen? The oxygen will not reach the cell. Again, the food will not be oxidized. There will be no energy. What will happen? It will affect all the systems. So, energy, when the oxygen reaches the cell, or when the food is present, or when the food is oxidized, then only the energy is released in the cell, and these cells are forming tissues which form organ, and which in turn form the organ system. So anything that prevents proper functioning of the cells and the tissue will lead to the lack of proper activities of the body. Is it clear? Now students, what is health? Health is a state of physical, mental, and social well-being in which disease and infirmity are absent. Being healthy means that one feels good physically, has positive outlook, and is able to cope with the social and mental pressure. So health is not that our body is free from disease. It does not mean that if we don't have any disease, we are healthy. No. Health means A person has to be physically, mentally and social well-being. Physically, body should be free from disease. Not only free from disease, you should be active. I have seen many times I have seen that the students, they come in the first period and they lie on the bench. They lie down and whole day they are lazy, sleeping only. That is not healthy. You cannot say a person is healthy, though you must be free from disease. But physically, you have to be fit, you have to be active. So it is a state of physical well-being, mental well-being. How mental well-being? You always have to have a positive outlook towards life, not only towards life, to every situation or to every task which is given to you. You should be free from tensions. You should not be always irritated or be afraid. Okay, overall mental health is also important. So that is the mental well-being. Social well-being. Social well-being means what? You should be comfortable, you should adjust with the other fellow students or other people in your surroundings. It is not that I cannot adjust with that boy, I cannot adjust with that friend is like that or that boy is like that, change my place, that boy is always disturbing, that boy is, no. You should be socially comfortable, you should be comfortable with everyone, you should not mistreat anyone or harm anyone or fight with anyone. That is social well-being. So health is a state of physical, mental and social well-being. All the three things. It is not that socially if you are comfortable, physically you are free from disease and you are active, but mentally you are always tensed up or irritated, that we are not healthy. I hope it is clear to everyone now. Now students, health is a state of physical, social and mental well-being, which I told you before. It cannot be something that each one of us can achieve entirely on our own. Okay, we cannot achieve on our own, that you all know. For mentally well-being also, you have to, there are many other factors which depend on others. Okay, for social well-being also, so you cannot achieve it on your own, and even for the physical also. So the conditions which are necessary for good health are good physical and social environment. Okay, it includes clean surroundings, good sanitation, proper garbage disposal and clean drinking water. And here also we have to depend on others. Okay, here also our social environment is important, because we live in villages, towns and cities, and in such places even our physical environment is decided by our social environment. For example, suppose if there is no agency, if no agency is ensuring that garbage is collected and disposed, what would happen? Or if there is no one to clean the drains and ensuring that water should not collect in the streets or the open places, or if there is no one to clean the street where the great deal of garbage is collected, what will happen? It will affect our health. Physically it will affect us. We may have proper poor health. So, okay. Second is good economic conditions. It includes job opportunities for all, for earnings, to have a nutritious food and to lead a healthy life. Good economic conditions means a person should have a good amount of money to get a balanced diet, food. Okay, not food only, balanced food. That is very much important. So for that, there should be opportunities to do work. There should be enough opportunities to do work, has to be available. Okay, so that a person has a good amount of money or to get the balanced diet and lead a healthy life. Then social equality and harmony, that is very much important to lead a peaceful life. We need to be happy in order to be truly healthy, and if we mistreat each other and be afraid of each other, we cannot be healthy. So social equality and harmony are therefore necessary for individual health. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now, when we think about health, we think of societies and communities. But when we think about disease, we think about individual sufferers. We will be the individual sufferers. In case of disease, if I'm suffering, if I'm suffering from any disease, I will be sufferer. If someone else is suffering from disease, that person will be sufferer. But to be healthy, we have to think about social communities and the societies because they affect us. Okay? I hope it is clear to everyone till here nicely. If you have any doubt, you can ask from me during the clarification session. Now students, please come. Disease. What is a disease? A disease is an abnormal condition that affects the body of an organism. It is often constructed as a medical condition associated with specific symptoms and signs or being uncomfortable. What is disease? When you are uncomfortable, when you feel some discomfort in the body or when you are not comfortable, that is disease. And it is possible to have a poor health without suffering from any disease. Suppose we don't have any disease, but we are always tensed, so we may suffer from poor health. So that is possible. Now, disease, I told you what is disease. Okay, when there is some discomfort in the body, we say we are suffering from disease. Okay. Now, how does one know that a person is suffering from disease? How we know that we are having some disease? When a person is suffering by a disease, either the normal functioning or the appearance of one or more system of the body changes, and these changes give rise to signs called symptoms, which indicates that something is wrong in the body. When you have disease, what happens? Either some of the organ does not function properly or whole of the organ system does not function properly. Sometimes other organs may also be affected. So what happens? Organ does not function properly, or when any organ system doesn't function properly, what happens? Certain symptoms, certain signs appear in the body, and these signs are called as symptoms, which indicates that the body is having or is suffering from some disease. So what are symptoms? Symptoms is an indication of disorder or discomfort or disease. Okay, like pain. If we have pain, or if we have fever or loose motions or weakness, what does they show? That we are suffering from some discomfort or disease. If there is a fever, if there is sneezing, okay, so these symptoms are actually the indications which tells us that something is wrong with the body. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay. Now, for example, let us take the case of digestive system. You all know all the system has some particular function. Okay. Now, in the digestive system, we have, as I told you, mouth, pharynx, stomach, intestine, and it helps to digest the food taken from outside. Okay. Now, during the disease, if any of the organ doesn't function properly, let us say the stomach doesn't function properly, or if you have taken some stale food or some food which is not healthy, or some food which is not good, okay, so what will happen? The stomach will not function properly, okay, or you can say you may suffer from acidity, or a person may have vomiting, loose motions will be accompanied by fever, pain, irritability. So you will come to know, we come to know that something is wrong with the body and we are having some disease. So these are the symptoms, these are the indications. Okay, so I have told you some of the common symptoms, some of the common indications like pain, nausea, weakness, fever, headache. Okay. Now, but these symptoms doesn't indicate, these symptoms indicate that there is disease, but they don't tell us about the particular disease. If you are having headache, doesn't mean that it doesn't indicate some specific disease. Okay. If we are having fever, it doesn't mean that we are having some infection only. It can be due to some other reasons also. Is it clear? If there is weakness, so these are the symptoms which indicate that something is wrong with the body or there is some disease, but they doesn't tell us about the disease, that you are suffering from that particular disease only. So these signs of disease are sometimes what physicians will look for. When you go to physicians, when you go to doctors will see the symptoms, doctor will see the signs. Okay, they will get some idea about the disease. Then they may ask for certain tests or for certain lab tests. And after seeing the report only, it is confirmed that a person is suffering from that disease, and then the medications are given. But sometimes in case of some minor diseases like cold, cough, okay, the symptoms will only tell us that a person is suffering from a particular disease. Like if a person is having fever or a person is having headache, okay, these are the symptoms. These will not tell you that you are suffering from cold unless or until you have sneezing, you have cough. Okay, then only it is confirmed that a person is suffering from this particular disease, cold, and then the medications are given. This may not require lab tests. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, now distinction between healthy and disease-free. Healthy, it is a state of physical, mental and social well-being. Disease-free, it is a state of absence of any kind of discomfort or derangement of functions of a body. Healthy, it refers not only to the individual but also its social and community environment, but disease-free refers to individual only. I hope it is clear to everyone till here. Third point, a healthy person is able to perform normal under given situation. But a disease-free person may not be healthy. Fourth point, example, being able to do graceful position while dancing for a dancer, and disease-free, free of disease, but not being able to stretch body properly while dancing. So students, in the next class, we will discuss next topic. Okay. And here most of the portion is removed. So first we will discuss only those topics which are included in the syllabus. And if you have any doubt, please clarify during the clarification session. And whatever I have explained today or whatever we have discussed today, just go through it, okay, in the NCERT book and also in the slides. Thank you, students.